No one can tell me that someone is willingly watching
Gray spies on Wenda and Pinky underwater. Do they get angry?
Man, what the f?
For millions of kids, Ethobot's Minecraft animations were a safe haven.
No, frick! I was watching that. It was getting to the good part too. The power must have. I don't know what we're yelling about!
A colorful escape filled with vibrant characters, quirky humor, and whimsical storytelling. His videos felt like they were made just for them. But behind the charming pixelated worlds and goofy sound effects was a far darker reality.
Bro, what are you doing?
You'd think the stories Ethobot told were just animated fantasies, but they were built on exploitation, fear, and manipulation.
Tell your biggest secret or kill your best friend.
Actually,
Shut up!
The artists, writers, and collaborators who helped craft his viral videos were bullied, gaslit, and emotionally drained, and when they spoke up, they were silenced. This isn't just another case of a YouTuber losing relevance. This is Ethobot, one of Minecraft's biggest creators with over 7 million subscribers, whose once thriving empire is now being picked apart by former collaborators revealing horror stories of financial abuse and psychological control. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we unravel the messy reality behind Ethobot's rise and fall, we need to ask the most disturbing question of all. Why is a grown man making videos about a 7-year-old Minecraft character being a yandere? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Make the right decision.
Born on January 23rd, 2002 in the United States, Ethan, better known as Ethobot, became a pioneer in Minecraft animations. His YouTube journey began in 2017 with The Siege Cinematic, a video that showcased his talent for storytelling using the Blockbuster mod. His unique approach to Minecraft machinima quickly captivated millions, establishing him as one of the most innovative creators in the space. With a mix of original animations and indie game-inspired narratives, often featuring elements from Undertale, his content continued to stand out. Videos like Friday Night Funkin', but it's Minecraft, racked up over 1.5 million views, cementing his reputation as a creative force. His mascot character Daisy, portrayed as Etho's little sister, became a fan favorite, adding a personal charm to his animated universe. At first glance, Ethobot's community looked like a fun, quirky team of creators collaborating to make Minecraft videos. But then it became more like a corporate sweatshop, only instead of sewing machines and factory lines, people were being underpaid for scripts, bullied in Discord calls, and manipulated emotionally like they signed up for a toxic reality show. His private Discord server, ominously named The Office, functioned less like a friendly workplace and more like an evil tech startup where the CEO gaslights you for asking about your paycheck.
you do not want to know what he said.
If you worked with Ethobot, you were expected to make his content, keep quiet about how much he was making off your work, never under any circumstances think you deserved better. This isn't an exaggeration. 6 people have come forward, each with their own horror story about what it was like working with Ethobot. And just like any good villain, he had different ways of tormenting each victim. The first victim to break free from Ethobot's content prison was Animal Mace, a talented creator who initially just wanted to make cool Minecraft content.
Ooh, what's this?
Started out as a friend and collaborator, but when he tried to pursue his own projects, Ethobot apparently saw that as an act of war. First, Ethobot publicly accused Mace of copying his content, which is ironic considering Ethobot's entire style is just repackaging existing Minecraft trends with clickbait thumbnails. Then things escalated. Copyright strikes, intimidation, legal threats. And if that wasn't petty enough, when Mace asked for a small raise to $20 per render, Ethobot reacted like Mace had asked for a cut of his YouTube revenue. He refused, then tried to emotionally manipulate him into staying underpaid. Because why pay people fairly when you can just make them feel guilty instead? But the weirdest part? Ethobot's mom got involved. Yes, this grown man's mother allegedly sent legal threats to people on his behalf, warning them about copying her son's content.
The fact he's doing that off of the basis of thumbnails whilst he himself copies thumbnails is crazy, if not straight up illegal.
Which, on the one hand, is hilariously embarrassing, but But on the other hand, it's also kind of terrifying. Imagine trying to negotiate a fair wage and getting hit with a cease and desist letter from some YouTuber's mom. Then there's Cookie BN, also known as Emma. She was Ethobot's right-hand person, basically handling everything from script writing to art, commissions, and community management. She was, in many ways, the backbone of his operation, but also one of its biggest victims.
I see an anime all the time.
Yeah, but anime also has weird things.
Well, that's why it's so... Sorry. Depends on what weird we're talking about.
Doc, what other type of weird would we be talking about?
She was just 16 years old when she got involved with Ethobot, and while everyone assumed they were a couple, they later found out that Emma was literally a minor at the time. That didn't stop Ethobot from emotionally manipulating her, guilt-tripping her, and treating her like she owed him every second of her time. Some highlights of Emma's insanely toxic work experience included writing multiple scripts at once for practically no pay.
I was never paid for any of the live streaming. Any like the ones that I co-hosted or that I hosted by myself.
Getting yelled at on stream because she wasn't reading the chat fast enough. Being isolated from friends because Ethobot didn't want her having a life outside of his content. Having her real name used against her like it was some sort of power move. But the absolute worst part, the yandere incident. Ethobot once suggested making a video where Emma's Minecraft character, who was supposed to be a 7-year-old girl, was a yandere. For those who don't know, a yandere is a character who is so obsessively in love that they turn violent and psychotic. So basically, he wanted to make a Minecraft Kids video that featured a violent, obsessed 7-year-old. And when Emma expressed discomfort, Ethobot brushed it off with, "I see it in anime all the time." Brother, what? As if all that wasn't creepy enough, Ethobot's behavior got even more unhinged in real life. At VidCon 2024, he paid for Emma's hotel room, then acted like she owed him her entire schedule in return. When she spent a few hours with other friends, Ethobot called her, crying, saying he was alone in his hotel room and heartbroken that she wasn't glued to his side 24/7.
A little bit more than a handful of times, he would tell me that I was very mature for my age.
I like 15-year-old girls!
Then, in classic Ethobot fashion, his mom jumped in again. She started threatening Emma, saying they wouldn't pay for her hotel anymore unless she prioritized Ethobot. Imagine being an actual adult man with 7 million subscribers and still needing your mommy to fight your battles. And the victim list doesn't end there. Sir Shaw's story is like so many others. Promises of mentorship, big dreams, and then nothing but stress and exhaustion. He joined Ethobot's team at 16, excited to learn, but quickly found himself stuck working long hours for just $5 an hour. Ethobot kept him hooked with a mix of over-the-top praise, calling him a younger version of myself with raw, untapped potential, and cruel insults. One moment he was the golden child. The next, he was getting ripped apart in front of everyone. Even when Shaw's dog died, Ethobot didn't care. He kept up the yelling and criticism like Shaw's grief was nothing but an inconvenience. Kat's experience wasn't much different. She got introduced to Ethobot through the Creator Gains server and soon found herself running his content behind the scenes. No training, no real guidance, just constant pressure and impossible expectations. Every mistake, no matter how small, turned into a lecture. But it wasn't just work. Ethobot played on her emotions, making her feel special, leading her on just enough to get extra hours of unpaid labor. It wasn't—
You late? I'm not paying for those.
Until his own mother stepped in, telling Kat to stop talking to him because of how misleading he was, that she realized how badly she'd been used. And once she left, Ethobot made sure to trash her name in the community, making it harder for her to move on. Then there was MC Horse, the guy behind the Blockbuster mod that made Ethobot's content what it was. At first, Ethobot paid him a little, but as his own channel got bigger, he started acting like he didn't owe MC Horse anything. The credit disappeared. The appreciation disappeared.
But did you know you could have savory crepes as well?
Shut up!
When MC Horse finally spoke up, Ethobot brushed him off. Later, probably out of guilt, Ethobot sent him a small donation, but by then, it was too late. MC Horse had had enough. He blocked Ethobot and walked away, cutting him off completely.
Who cares?
Who have come forward, anonymous testimonies reveal an even darker side to Ethobot. One former collaborator recalled how Ethobot pitched the idea of a content creator house, where his team would live and work under his supervision. At first, it sounded like a cool setup, just creators working together under one roof. But the reality? Total control. Ethobot wanted to dictate their daily schedules, decide who they could talk to, and even meddle in their personal relationships. He sold it as a family dynamic, but in truth, it was about cutting them off from the outside world, making sure they had nowhere else to turn but him. Another anonymous source shared an even more unsettling story. Ethobot allegedly made some highly questionable casting choices for his videos, especially when it came to minors. He reportedly tried placing underage individuals in roles that weren't appropriate for their age, sometimes involving romantic or suggestive themes.
That's more weird than you think.
When concerns were raised, he brushed them off, saying it was normal in anime, so it was fine for his content too. Then there was the emotional blackmail. Several former associates described how Ethobot would guilt trip anyone who tried to leave. He'd tell them they were betraying the family he built, making them feel like they owed him their time and loyalty. Some were pressured into working for free, lured by vague promises of big opportunities that never came. And if they did manage to escape, Ethobot made sure to ruin their reputation. He spread rumors, painted them as ungrateful or disloyal, and did whatever he could to keep them from moving on. Different people, same cycle. Ethobot used them, drained them, and when they finally stood up for themselves, he discarded them like they were nothing. At this point, Ethobot is a full-blown manipulative villain, preying on young creators, exploiting their work, and throwing them away as soon as they stop being useful. With all of this coming to light, the real question is, why is this man still making content for kids? Between toxic work environments, weird yandere plots, financial abuse, and emotional meltdowns over VidCon schedules, Ethobot's empire looks less like a Minecraft wonderland and more like a YouTube version of Willy Wonka's factory, if Willy Wonka was a control freak with a Discord server. This is a pattern of abuse, and the people speaking out, they're not trying to cancel Ethobot, they're trying to warn others before more young creators get trapped in his office. And yet somehow, he's still making content like nothing happened. At some point, YouTube needs to step in, right? Because if they don't, there's no telling who Ethobot will exploit next. If you made it this far, you're probably just as shocked as we are. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think, and if you want to stay updated on stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.